Hey, good morning from Vegas. This is Mark Yurik, all right? And let's cover different ways that we're able to bust and kill that ego, okay? And not just meme it, so we may get more done and be more successful, okay? Now, one of the main things is, you or myself, we may get into this comfort zone, hey, this is safe, this is what we like, hey, we want to be part of this group, we want to be recognized, okay? But if you notice lately, comfort zones aren't lasting, okay? If the last thing that happened, or I think it was an election, because I don't watch the news, because it's too depressing, right? Or too negative. I don't want anything negative. But had a certain candidate not won, a lot of jobs were going to go down to Mexico. So imagine being comfortable in that position, thinking, hey, everything's great, and all of a sudden, boom, you're out of a job because that job was creating comfort. You knew you were going to get paid every 2 weeks or every week. And you're going to be able to take care of your family. However, sometimes comfort zones don't last, right? And I can tell you from here, well, I'm not a head shrinker or anything, or don't profess to know everything, but as over the next 10 years, they're bringing in this AI, right? And what is AI? Well, that's artificial intelligence, and that is something that's probably going to be a waste of time because how do you say it? They did not do the research on you or myself to see what we think about AI, right? Do we want driverless trucks within the next 5 to 10 years running down the interstates, right? How comfortable would you feel or would I feel driving down the road knowing there's a driverless truck barreling at me or a piece of code that broke in that driverless truck or something like that? So that's going to take all those truck drivers, right, and toss them right out of their comfort zone. AI's got a good use and a bad use, and I think that's just going to take time for them to figure out that, hey, maybe we should want to focus our efforts on this part of AI and not the part of AI that's going to wipe out everybody's job, you know what I mean? Okay, so that comfort zone. One way, okay, now that's your ego. You go, oh yeah, I'm comfortable. Oh, I'm in this zone. Yeah, baby, everything's good, right? So how do you break out of that comfort zone? Well, you burn a bridge. You just walk away. What? Yeah, just do it. Which means that if you walk out of that comfort zone, say, walk away from what you're doing and do something new, eventually over 30 days, you're going to develop a new habit like we talked about before. Now, how do you say this? The new habit is going to benefit you and it's going to benefit myself because we're getting out of that comfort zone and we're creating something that's not like where everybody else is going down that road, right? We're going down the path least traveled, right? And the ego doesn't like the path least traveled. The ego likes that, ooh, instant gratification, woo, I want to make instant money online and stuff like that. Well, that doesn't happen. That's like make-believe fantasy world stuff, right? So if you ever hear like, ooh, instant money online, that's a crock of you know what, right? So how do you, or how do I, or how did I go from this road to this path least traveled? Well, one way is to get on this new path and to get things done, okay, like this video here. One thing is to bypass this ego, create new daily routines, okay? One of those routines is this. All right, I don't know if you could see that, but that's a journal, and in that journal every day, first thing, you're fresh in the morning, you're wide awake in the morning. First thing in the morning, write down, a couple things I'm grateful for. And let's say you begin the day by writing down a few things you're grateful for and then saying them out loud. that's getting past this thing right here, you know, the protection mechanism, and you're going to feel better because you're starting the day from a place of gratitude, okay? Now, also in that journal, you know, things that happened that day or the day before, and what was learned and what was discovered and things like that. At the end, usually write down, how do you say it? Affirmations like I am successful in things like that, and then say that out loud because you're going to bypass this ego, right? In a way where you're creating that thought within you that's going to pull you to where you want to be. All right. I know it sounds crazy, but it actually works. All right. And then now I know there's like this when you type things, it really doesn't bypass this thing right here, this ego and things, right? So when you take a pen and you write stuff down, it's automatically bypassing the ego, and the ego doesn't even know it. It can't protect itself. It can't protect you. It can't protect me because we're writing it down, and that's going down into our core. Now, so if we write down what we're grateful for and we write down what we discovered the day before or the failures, you know, hey, how are you going to succeed if you don't fail, right? And what we discovered from that, and you write down some positive affirmations, my gosh, you know, a lot of good's going to come from that. At the same time, in the morning, we're like, wide awake, okay? So the last thing, when you're creating a new habit and you want to bypass this is maybe don't check your emails the first thing in the morning or anything like that. Put that off till you complete that task you wrote down, right? Not that you typed down that you wrote down or you spoke out loud, right? And then that way you're going to find out you're going to get that task done quicker because, like I say, that ego, it's looking for distractions. It's looking for excuses to keep you from doing what you're doing because that's not what it's comfortable with. But eventually, you'll create a new habit that you'll be comfortable with, if that makes sense. Okay, and when you're writing it down, it's going in. Now, for example, I'm not saying this because of my ego, but there's something called mind maps on software on this laptop here, and what it could do is create these how do you say it, plans where it's like this is how it's going to look, but that's not writing it in. So what happened? Watch this, I'll show you. Okay, I wanted to create an online course to help others become successful online or starting their own online home business. So here's what I wrote down. You see that? All this shit. Okay. So that's like, I'm going to get that so it don't fall. So that's like about 5 sheets of a course outline that was written down, not on one of those mind things where it's bouncing off, the egos is bouncing off because I'm writing it down. So this is a powerful tool. Okay, at the same time, this thing, you may write out, those daily tasks. Well, what if you wrote down a weekly task or your monthly task? What do you want to complete this week? What do you want to complete this month, right? So let's say, want to complete this next video lesson this week, all right? And then the daily tasks to complete that, you write those down, okay? And then after that week, let's say you do it, yeah, all right, you give yourself that reward. But let's say you don't, then you're writing in your journal, okay, well, hit this, or this distraction came up, I recognize that, right? But by just writing it down, it's going to happen twice as fast as if you didn't, because you're going to be looking for an excuse, like these things, turn these off, right? Turn those cell phones off in the morning. You don't want to check your email. You just want to have your what you're grateful for and some positive affirmations, and you have your task and just get to it, and boom, it'll be done quick. And then you go check your email, because if you go in your email in the morning, you're going to get distracted. Oh, I'm going to look at this. Next thing you know, it's like maybe an hour or two later, or after, let's say you're doing it at night, you get home and it's like, oh, geez, check my email. Next thing you know, it's time to go to bed. You know, those are distractions, and your ego loves those distractions because it doesn't want to get out of the comfort zone that it's in. Okay, so by writing out a plan, by writing things down, by writing what you're grateful for, by writing positive affirmations and saying them out loud and not typing this stuff in, you're going to find out that all of a sudden you're going to shift that comfort zone over here to the path less traveled that's lined with gold, and that's the path you want to be on. Being like everybody else, I don't know. I mean, doesn't attract many people because you're fitting in, or you're blending in with everybody else. Where if you go down this path less traveled that's lined with gold, you're going to stand out and you're going to attract attention, and you're going to, how do you say it? You're going to convert more online, and when you convert, you make money and things like that. And we'll discuss that more in detail in future releases. But for now, just know you want to bypass this ego that's keeping you from, or is going to try to keep you from doing what you want to do to get where you want to be. Okay, it's easy to say, oh yeah, I could have, or yeah, it's like, and versus just doing it. Okay, all right, may that be useful. Until next time, you have a great day. Take care.